to the cooker. He scores!
Steals, cutting in, shoots, scores!
The first one is definitely a highlight one.
Top of the circle, the drive. A magnificent goal!
Can you believe what we just saw?
All right, what's up, everybody? It's Hockey Night Insider episode number 2. Stoked to have you back along. Nick Gismondi alongside my partner, Parker Kalman, and a great show on tap for you here today. I mean, we got some big names. We got Peter Dale, a long time friend of mine, and of course, lover of the game of hockey, somebody who he knows and has influenced incredibly well, and Aiden Schwetz. And of course, we got Tom Peterson from Green Biscuit joining us as well. But Parks, what's up, man? How's the week? You good?
Man, we're doing well over here. Been watching a lot of NHL hockey lately. Just, man, my Ducks just don't know what they're doing. You know, obviously last year losing out on Bedard was a big deal for us. And we're just trying to pick up the pieces. We're tanking again, apparently. So that's unfortunate.
Who do you like? Actually, let me give you a hot take right now. You got a pick for the Cup? I mean, you can't say, I know the Ducks are your team, but it's probably not going to be the Ducks.
It's definitely not going to be the Ducks. You don't even have to say probably. It's definitely not going to be the Ducks.
I was trying to be sweet about it, you know.
I appreciate that, Gizmo. I can never count out the teams in the Atlantic. You know, you got the Bruins, obviously, that are always going to be a threat. And honestly, you know, Tampa Bay. They're just a team that's always kind of in that mix, and you can never count out. So I'm going to take one of those two from the Atlantic.
There's some dangerous ones. I mean, listen, I like the Oilers. Just because you make a coaching change like that, you come on super hot. I think the Kings are a sleeper team, even though they're a little bit like down in the, you know, trying to figure it out. They just got a new coach. But I think like if I'm picking sleeper, like where did you guys kind of sort of come from? Even though it might not be a big surprise, I'm thinking maybe Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay. I could definitely see them making a run for it. So we'll see. Hey, maybe we'll play some bets on it. We'll play some bets on it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. We'll have some fun with it.
That might need to be a segment.
Yeah.
Well, we got 3 great guests tonight. Who are you looking most forward to? I know you're so intimately involved with Roller and you're kind of on the rink with these guys at some degree. You know, you talked about, last week, Ethan. I know you know Aiden well. What are you kind of looking forward to out of this episode, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I got to say I'm looking forward to talking to Schwetzy. I know he's got some big opinions. I'm definitely going to poke in at that, to see what he's thinking. But I'm looking forward to talking to all these guys. It's going to be definitely a good episode with some good setup lineup for us. So, yeah, should be fun.
All right, well, let's get it rolling. Episode 2 starts right now when we come back on Hockey Night Insider, brought to you by The Answer Is Yes. It'll be Peter Dale joining us to talk about the myriad of different things that he's involved with right now.
Guys, we have a saying, okay? How you do anything is how you do everything. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that before. How you do anything is how you do everything.
As often or as many times or as many chances you have to put your kid around quality people, you have to take advantage of them. I'm a father of 3. My kids are all adults at this point in life, and the influence that Peter had over my son is something that to this day we can go back, channel, and talk about. And any time in life when you have a chance to be around a person that has these absolutes, the way he lives his life, there are a few people that are the genuine article. I am telling you with everything in my heart and soul, if you can have your children around people like Peter and his staff, they're going to be better humans. And yes, we want them to be better hockey players, and yes, we want them to be more successful in the classroom and all that, but I'm telling you, the thing that is not sold, he doesn't put on his flyers is, hey, be a better person. Get around Peter, be around the farm tough culture, and you're gonna be thrilled with what happens with your child.
right. Well, our first guest on episode 2, a long-time friend of mine and one of the great guys in roller hockey, and that seems to be a theme. It's Peter Dale, the man behind Farm Tough Hockey. And, buddy, it is so good to see you. It has been too long. How the heck are you?
Gizmo, it's so great to be here. Thanks for inviting me. It has been a long time. I know we were talking before, and I mean, we go back 20 plus years, so it's been a while.
You're doing so many different things, and I can't wait to talk about all of them. But we were just talking, your travels are pretty crazy. Tell me sort of kind of what life has been like lately. We'll get into all the cool stuff you're doing, but you were just overseas, and that's something that you do a lot of. And obviously it's growing the game of hockey, but tell me a little bit about where the travels have taken you recently and sort of where you're at right now.
Yeah, so recently I just got back from Brazil. Our good friend Shandy out there with No Limits Hockey and Amparo, he's really doing a great job. And a couple of years ago, we'll talk more about it in the college prospect camp. He was somebody that was really motivated to connect kids in college hockey. So we've been going back supporting his event. We do our South American prospect camp there. And then on Wednesday, in just a couple of days here, I'm heading to Colombia to go meet with the Hockey One guys and Julio Cuervo from in Bogota. And again, same type of thing. We're really trying to bring the Farm Tough experience to them and really kind of changing the way and the model on this one with the camp into more small space training and more kind of a more personal, intimate setting.
Well, it's cool because of the international expansion, and I remember years back when these teams, you talk about the team from Bogota, and they started showing up at the tournaments at Narch, and now for that relationship to continue to be growing and for you to be able to help enhance that, I think it's just incredible. Have you seen the excitement down there sort of kind of exponentially ramp up every year?
It's unbelievable, and I think the people in the States sort of take things for granted because, you're always like, hey, we can go to this tournament, or hey, I can sign up for the college prospect camp, or we can do it. But in these places, they're like going to a tryout to pick kids to come to our camp. And the kids that are selected and get chosen, literally, it's like parents are like tearing up and crying, and they take it. So it's such a big thing for them. And like their passion and their hunger for wanting to come and play and learn and grow. It's really, really cool.
That's incredible. And you mentioned the college prospect camp. I wanted to talk about that. Maybe tell us a little bit more about it, and then I've got some follow-up questions for you on it. But it is an incredible endeavor that you're doing because it is really opening up a lot of doors for people who otherwise maybe wouldn't have seen them there.
Yeah, so, like 2018 we started, and again, same kind of idea, right? I grew up, when we met, we were doing USA Clinic. So my background has always been that teaching. I'm that teaching aspect. That's what I love. I love the process. I love the training, the development. And so I had a son, my oldest, who's now going to turn 23 this year. And it was like interested in playing college roller hockey. And it was like, well, who knows about it? How do we do anything about it? And so, of course, with, my love for teaching and training, it was like, we need to create the coolest roller hockey specific camp because there's 10,000 of them for ice hockey, but there's just not that high performance event where you bring in, the highest trainers, you have the most quality, professional atmosphere and jerseys hanging in locker rooms, and you give these kids this crazy experience. And so that's what we started to do. And that was the goal, to create this sort of ability to connect the dots for kids with college coaches coming in, sports performance training. So Ted Butler from Operation Athlete is our head guy in that, who is unbelievable by himself. And the training aspect, with me and Farm Tough and things like that. So we sort of put it together, and it came out to be, kids come, stay in a college dorm overnight, right? Have 3 off-rink sports performance sessions with Operation Athlete and Ted Butler. Have 3 on-rink skill sessions with, Peter Dale and instructors and pro guys that come in. And then we have 4 games. So it's like a tournament as well, coached by college coaches. So we bring it all together into this one environment. And, a lot of people in the beginning were like, yeah, good luck. I don't think it'll go. People probably won't, aren't interested in that or whatever, and, fortunately for us, we've sold out every single year. We take 40 skaters and 8 goalies. And now, as you said, we've grown into this whole international scene where we have a South America prospect camp where they pick kids to come. this year was Brazil, Argentina, Colombia. We have an Asia Pacific camp this year with Dom Brown from Wheel Hub Asia, who's running it. They're sending 2 kids over. We have Rob Shelton from the UK with Young Guns Hockey, who's picking kids to be able to come over. And so we're really creating this sort of melting pot of kids and giving them the opportunity to come and, have this experience. It's really, really one of the coolest things I think that I've ever done.
Very, very incredible. I mean, you've always been that development guy, and that's where we meet. By the way, I cannot believe your son is 23 years old. When I met you, you didn't have a son, so hence the gray hairs that are coming in here, buddy. I know you haven't seen me in a minute, but I love the I love the development. I love the placement, and I think that the big thing is that they do have that available for ice hockey. It wasn't really prevalent in roller, so giving that opportunity and giving that international flavor is it's absolutely amazing. Have you seen it sort of develop? I mean, are these kids and these college coaches receptive to it? I mean, are they finding their way to college roller hockey because of the prospect camps?
Yeah, so we had our first kid from Brazil. Rodrigo Santos is down in Lindenwood this year. So he's playing, and like for Brazil, that was like one of the first things. Oh, let's see, Santos. I think it was Dantes. I said the wrong name. Apologize about that, buddy. But yeah, we're seeing those kids finally going. GCU, and Aiden Schwetz is bringing kids over from Colombia as well. But these international kids that come to camp, you've seen the international kids at tournaments and stuff. Their work ethic and stuff is so hard that it really does elevate the level of our play here, even in the U.S. with the kids and the coaches. I think they love it. Every year it gets more and more competitive, and the international kids have proven that they belong, and they're among some of the top players that come.
When you talk about the college roller programs right now, obviously one of the first ones, and I think probably still the biggest, is Lindenwood. But have you seen it grow across the country in terms of colleges? I mean, where would you put the growth of college roller programs right now?
Yeah, I mean, I still think there's an educational gap where a lot of people still don't know about it. I think the NCRHA has been, working hard to try to, get the word out. I think we've been doing a good job with, helping bring new kids to the event. And, new programs, like, again, I go back to GCU, that is, I think, motivated. I think when you get those people that really try to bring in and bring kind of the coolness of, recruiting and all that type of stuff, and that element of what kids have in ice hockey, and bring that to the roller side. I mean, I think that's more and more people are finding out about, hey, I think this is an option. And Gizmo, when we started, our kind of idea was like, hey, it's going to be high school age kids. But what I'm finding in these last couple of years is that we're getting kids that are like 19 and 20 going, hey, can we come to camp? Maybe they went and played juniors and they decided, you know what? I don't want to play ice hockey anymore. The grind is too much. I just want to go and play roller hockey. And in fact, last year we had a player from Poland who was in that situation that came to participate in camp, and just had a conversation. I think he's looking to come to the States next year and go to college and play roller.
That's exciting. That's exciting. I can't. We'll of course put up a ton of info where players can go to not only learn more about the college prospect camps, but how they can get involved and get enrolled. And obviously, you're super accessible. So, very, very exciting stuff. You got so many things going on. Tell me about the Girls Festival as well, because that's a huge development as well, and something you've been working on also.
Yeah, so probably for about 2 years in the work, we've been with this concept of like our Farm Tough Roller Club. We have so many girls that have always been a part of our program. And, so many people have reached out when they've seen the college prospect camp and said, hey, can girls attend? Or what do you do for girls? And so, we kind of came up with the concept of let's create a girls festival in the same vein where girls are going to be able to come, stay at the college, right? So they're all together. We bust them to the rink. We have offering skills performance with sports performance with Teddy and Operation Athlete. We have honoring skill sessions. And then we have basically, it's like a 4-game tournament. And so I think we're really going to have a good international presence at the camp. We have a girl goalie from the Cayman Islands that's registered. I know I've spoken to some girls from Mexico that are coming in. We have about 8 or 9 girls from Brazil coming. So I'm really hoping that we can help engage and empower our U.S. girls to come I know it's a little different for them, being that they're ice hockey players, and it's sort of a step away. But I think we all know the benefits of roller hockey, and I think what it can do for your ice hockey game. So we're really hopeful that we can really get this Farm Tough Girls Festival off the ground this year.
The other thing I really love about it right now is that we're seeing so much growth in women's hockey. I mean, you've got the new PWHL, obviously on the ice hockey side, that's been massively successful. Yeah. The women's Olympics teams are just absolutely amazing. I've been lucky enough to be a part of some of the growth of women's ice hockey, and I love that it's starting to even dominate and develop more in roller hockey too. So this girls festival really excites me because there are just an incredible amount of insanely talented players out there, and now I think with the growth of women's ice hockey, I think you're going to see that spill over to women's and girls roller hockey as well.
Yeah, I really hope so. I think the challenge always, when you're starting something new, most of the girls in the U.S. that play roller, a lot of them at the high levels, are ice hockey players. So trying to get them to, come and do an event that is, roller hockey specific, I hope we can. I think with the girls that we're surrounding them with, that you've seen that, Joy Duns and Josie Duns and all of the Dunn sisters who grew up playing roller hockey, and played Division I college ice hockey. And there's so many girls that are great advocates and mentors for the younger girls that I hope that we can convince, a lot of the U.S. girls to be able to come and try something it's a little bit different. Yeah, it's getting off the ice, but I think the results, and obviously we all know the benefits of the training, and I think our girls are, they've proven that model.
And I think also the excitement level that has increased, and when they see it happening, and when they now know that they have the ability to have the resources available to them, and there's a goal in sight now, it certainly it ramps up the excitement level and gives them something to shoot for.
Yeah, right. I mean, and I think a lot of the international girls, a lot of them just play rollers. So for them to be able to come, and a lot of them are on their national teams. And so I'd like to make that connection with our girls as well, and I hope that, in the future here, girls that come to the girls festival will be, in consideration to make our U.S. national team and our women's team. And we sort of create, and just to help connect the dots, with opportunities. And that's really what it's about. Just because you play ice hockey doesn't mean that there's not another opportunity or something for you. And, I think the women in roller hockey have really put a good foot forward to help show some other opportunities and create some different paths.
I love that. Always growing the game, buddy. You've not changed a single bit in the last 2 decades. It's the same Peter Dale, just making it bigger and better.
Do what we can, for sure.
Yes, sir. And at the heart of all of it, it began with Farm Tough Hockey, and now the Farm Tough Hockey Club. What started as obviously training and development has turned into teams that travel and do tournaments. So sort of take me through the evolution of Farm Tough Hockey and where it's at right now.
Yeah, so I think we're in a really good spot. Obviously, I moved into, I started in USA Clinics, teaching roller hockey clinics and camps around the country and around the world. And sort of in around 2007, we bought the farm property, and it's when I started having boys and wanted to stay home and not travel as much. So, we created, this concept of Farm Tough Hockey, of being farm tough. And, me as an ice hockey and a roller hockey player, we just wanted to provide something for my boys to do in the spring. We've now been an advocate of, playing a sport all year round. I played 5 sports in high school, 3 sports in college. So I'm a big multi-sport athlete person. And so roller hockey was sort of that, hey, let's do something in the spring to give them a break. And, we started with just a couple of teams. And, the last few years at nationals, we're bringing 18 teams, multiple teams and age groups. So, I think we've done a great job of showing that you can grow the sport and get new kids playing. And, everyone knows the story. Those kids go back to ice hockey and they're among the top players, and that helps spread word of mouth and helps keep growing. So, we're sort of in that realm where we have gone on both teams. We have co-ed teams, and, we're usually running U6 all the way up through U18 and, now U21s, juniors. And, last year we started our first Farm Tough Pro team. So we're making a push.
It's exciting. It makes me so proud of you to see where it kind of began. And we always talked about your vision for this, and for you to to have put it into effect. And I mean, I'm always excited about anybody and anything that helps people, changes lives, and the amount of kids and I mean lives that you've touched and affected by doing all this, Peter. It's pretty cool, man. I'm real proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's been a long journey, but the people along the way that have helped and that have supported and this cause, it's really great. You know, when you're in the mode, you know, just like like yourself, you see where you're at to, being on the NHL network and doing things like that. You know, you just sometimes don't stop to look back and go, wow, what a path and what a journey, we've been. And there are so many people along the way that have been such a big impact. And it's great to know that you're leaving an impact on, others as well. I'm all about creating positive long-term habits. That's always kind of been my thing. And I think that our programming and the things that we do are helping us be able to do that and connect with other people.
Well, you're the man. It has been amazing catching up with you. I know you're sitting outside, not in the warmest of temperatures in the Midwest there, buddy. So we'll let you get back inside and warm up.
I appreciate it. Wim Hof breathing outside. I'm all good. All day, baby.
Farm tough, baby. Let's go.
Hey, listen, we're not city tough. This is farm tough, man. Whatever we got to do.
That's right. Peter, you're fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. I cannot wait to see you soon and catch up more. But you're one of the great guys in roller hockey, and it's an honor to call you a friend, my man. And you take care. Safe travels this week. And I really truly look forward to catching up with you and giving you a big hug.
Thanks, buddy. Right back at you.
All right, we have more of Hockey Night Insider when we come back after this. Don't go anywhere. The guests continue.
It happens in a flash.
A hush.
The crack of thunder.
Practice paid off.
Preparation made good.
When everything we work to build
takes flight. In that moment,
time stops.
Through clouds of doubt,
we emerge.
Our highest
and best selves.
Together, we climb.
Every day.
Together,
we reach from within.
For a higher calling.
Together,
we soar.
This is our purpose.
Our season.
Our time.
We are Lopes. Rising.
All right, back with you on Hockey Night Insider. And look at this guy. We love having him on. Aidan Schwetz joins us. He is the president. Well, he wears a lot of hats, but we'll just say he's the president of Lobes Hockey. Aidan, thank you so much for taking the time to join Parks tonight.
Of course, anytime. Anytime I get to talk about my team, I'm going to take that opportunity.
Well, the college roller scene is evolving and changing so much, and it's great to have you on because we spoke to a long time good friend of mine, Peter Dale, who's doing so much in that space. But what is sort of his work and the foundation that he's built set you guys up for it and really the future of college roller hockey? And then I want to hear more about obviously what you guys have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Peter Dale is an incredible human being. I mean, he was really the first person outside of the actual NCRHA to really try and push forward the league. I think one thing that a lot of people miss out on with the idea of college roller is that it's the longest standing league in the United States. And in my opinion, because of that, it really has the most importance. I mean, travel teams, they come and go. Tournament teams, they come and go. But colleges, for better or for worse, are forever. So the college roller league is something that every single person can follow for your lifetime. I mean, whether it's your alma mater, it's your local school. So for Peter Dale to be able to start the college prospect camp and start creating a funnel of players from the youth divisions, from the travel teams, whether it's from Farm Tough or from anywhere else in the country or outside the country. He has camps in Colombia and Argentina and Brazil and all these places now. It's probably one of the best things that's happened to the sport in quite some time. So anything that's going to grow what in my opinion is the most important league in the country is a massive positive. And also he's just an incredible guy and he's just so positive. So to have someone like that in the sport and to have someone like that associated with College Roller is top tier. As regards to GCU, I mean, last season was our first official year. There was a GCU team in 2019 that I didn't have anything to do with, so I guess I technically revived GCU. And fun fact, our assistant coach now was actually on that original team. So we do have a little bit of an alumni association.
Obviously, Aiden, I've seen you around all these tournaments. It's great finally getting to talk to you. I know we've, messaged back and forth over Instagram and stuff like that. And, Gizmo mentioned you wear a bunch of hats over there at GCU. And obviously, you're not just the president, you're also the captain of the team and a pretty damn good one at that. I want to give you, a couple kudos. First off, for just the social media presence that the Lopes have been able to bring. Obviously, me being a social media guy myself, I admire, all the roller teams that are out there trying to grow the game as much as they can. And like, as far as the social media is concerned, the Lopes have been, one of the top dogs in the college roller community. So I'd like to hear you speak on that a little bit. And then also your kind of role as a captain. What are your goals, for the Lopes this year? Obviously, this is your fourth year. And what do you have going on after this year when you're going to be graduating? Are you going to try to hit the pro scene? I'd love to hear about that.
Sure. So social media, as you were touching on, is an unbelievably important aspect of college roller. I think it's very important for tournament teams and travel teams and programs like that. But for these college teams that are here year over year and they're not going anywhere, it's just of utmost importance as far as recruiting goes. So to give you an example, last season was my first year running the program and our first year as a Division I program. I spent the entirety of the summer, literally no exaggeration, 8 to 10 hours a day on the phone, trying to convince people to buy into this idea of, either jump ship, start this new Division I program with me, or start your college career with a brand new program and, believe in me and my ideology of how a college program should be ran, which I'll touch on this later, but I was really building the program off of the idea of caring. And I don't know if I'm allowed to use this word, but give a crap essentially is the 3-word mantra that I have in building this program and applying that to every single little detail in what we do. So whether it's, actually showing up to practice on time or doing the little things like photo shoots and team merch or doing exhibition games or, forcing your players to actually take a part of the community or giving a lesson or there's a million little things that go into it, but every single little detail is so important. So when it comes to social media, it's just as important as all those other little details, and doing it correctly, most importantly, helps an incredible amount. So at the College Prospect Camp last year, they did a survey of every player and what preferred schools that they would like to be able to talk to or potentially attend in the future. And after just our first season, we were the number one most requested school to attend or speak to, one person ahead of Lindenwood even. So that was really a testament to how important social media is, and how important online outreach is to the next generation of players. Because, unlike ice hockey, we don't have these AAA programs that have been around forever that are, building these kids into college-ready players. We don't have the youth leagues. Arizona, we do have a youth league, but not every state has that. There's maybe 2 or 3 in the country. Missouri has Moiha, which really only lasts for 6 weeks out of the year. IHA's is 4 months out of the year. So being able to use social media as a recruitment tool on top of the college prospect camp is incredibly important. But I will say I have to give kudos. I know we are not the best at it in the college roller scene. I got to give kudos to Miranda Lemus and Heatwave Graphics at Boston University. They definitely kill it on a completely different level. So I want to make sure she gets her credit for that and her flowers for that, because it's just next level, and the stuff that they're posting is NHL quality. So for these other teams that are looking to, step up their game, social media is the first thing you got to do, and it's cheap. You can do it for free.
You mentioned talking about obviously graduating and what comes next for you specifically, and Parks was sort of getting at it. What does that look like? But what kind of example are you trying to set for the path forward for other college roller players who are maybe stepping out of that college scene and trying to figure out what the next path in hockey is for them, be it roller or whatever?
Sure. So the first thing I want to say is that I am always going to be a part of the GCU program. I'm always going to be heavily involved. I'm going to be spending my summers, setting up the season and planning the trips and doing the fundraisers. And I will never not be a part of it. And I'm never going to let it die, because it's too important to me. It's my child. It's too important to the college scene and too important to roller hockey in general. I think GCU has been able to set an example both online and in person of how a college program should be ran. And, I've been very grateful to have a lot of programs message me or come up to me and say that they have been trying to model themselves, whether it's like one aspect or the entirety of it after what we do. So I will never leave it behind, and I'm going to be a part of it forever, lope till I die. But as far as what I'm doing after college, still up in the air, I suppose. It's always been a dream of me to be able to play overseas. The Liga Elite, France, Italy, Spain. That's definitely on the table. I actually do have a summer job at Timberlake Camp, which I don't know if you guys know anything about these camps. It sounds like you do. They're crazy. So there's like 400 roller hockey kids at this camp in the Catskills in New York with one guy running it. And there's like 20 of these camps across the Eastern Pennsylvania and upstate New York. My dad actually attended one when he was a kid. He attended Saginaw in, I think it was Pennsylvania. So I'm spending 10 weeks of my summer as an assistant hockey director up there, running tournaments and youth programs and private lessons and all that good stuff. That's my next immediate step. I haven't done it yet, so I can't speak from experience, but anyone that is willing to look into summer jobs, there's literally thousands of these kids who play roller only at these camps and then don't play again until the next summer. So to start throwing college roller kids at these assistant hockey director or hockey director positions and pulling them out of these ice hockey, full-time gigs and then only playing roller during the summer, we can pull them out into college. We can show them what a long-term roller career can look like, and that's what I plan on doing. So that's my next immediate first step, and I encourage others to take that as well.
Now, obviously you love roller hockey. That's pretty clear. Yes. From my conversations that I've had with you to you talking here. What is, as a whole with roller hockey, what's something that you would kind of change with it to make it maybe more popular? I'm sure you put a lot of thought into this, just like I do. So don't mean to open that can of worms too much.
Loaded question.
I'm going to get canceled immediately.
There we go.
So honestly, one of my biggest gripes with the sport of roller hockey as a whole is that for the last forever, since it was invented in whatever it was, the late 70s, early 80s, roller hockey, for whatever reason, has always tried to be ice hockey's like redheaded stepchild. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's never worked. At least it's never worked to the extent that I think anybody has hoped. I don't get it. I don't know why roller hockey, the people who are in charge, are so focused on pulling ice kids. I don't think it's going to work. It hasn't really worked to an extent, to the extent that they want it to. And it's time for a different way to grow the sport. It just is. It's been like 40 years. We got to do something else. And in my opinion, we need to change the sport to a point where it's viewed as its own sport, and it's not viewed as ice hockey's summer gig or ice hockey's training tool or ice hockey's this or whatever. Like, it has to be its own thing. And I mean, I would go all the way into saying we need to change the name of it. Like, don't call it roller hockey, call it something else. Like, get rid of the hockey part. It just needs to be something different. When you look at these other countries that have two sports that are similar, one is always going to reign way more supreme than the other one. Like, you look at countries where there's American football and there's rugby, only one or the other is going to take priority. You look at countries that have cricket and baseball, one of them is going to be popular and one of them is going to be nothing. So even when you look at countries where there's roller hockey and ice hockey, where roller hockey reigns supreme, it's because ice hockey has a very minimal presence. But when we're in a country like the United States, if roller hockey tries to have a massive presence, it's not going to work, because ice hockey, we're never going to pass ice hockey. So we have to stop trying to be so much like them. And so in that ideology or in that thought process, some of the things that I think need to change, or we just need to change the game to a point where it's viewed as its own thing. And I think in 10 years time, the way that we should move is towards smaller rinks, way smaller rinks like they play in Europe, and 3-on-3. And I think those are the two major changes that we can make. To one, it would be significantly more exciting to watch the game. I mean, me as an avid lover of the sport, I can completely understand how watching a pro game as an outsider can be boring. I get it. Like when Eitan Shaviro holds the puck for 4 straight minutes, like, it's not exciting. It's just not. Like, and I can conceptually understand that. But when you're 3-on-3 in a small rink, like, I don't know if you guys have ever had the privilege of playing at the Palma rink, the Patty Najjar Arena. That was a great size, honestly, for a 3-on-3 tournament. I played one there, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas prior. It was the most exciting tournament I've ever played in my entire life, outside of maybe playing in Brazil. And it was just a bunch of men's league teams. But the games were so exciting, and the skill level was brought so much closer together, where there were guys that would normally have absolutely no business standing on the same rink as Travis Noe, actually like putting up a little bit of a show. And it was very exciting to watch. Even, the silver division, which normally I would, never watch, which I'm actually playing in a silver division, so I really shouldn't be saying that. But here in this Winter Wars tournament, but the silver division was fun to watch. Like, it was exciting. It was high scoring. It was way faster paced, because when you bring these lower end guys who normally wouldn't be able to skate the entire rink of a NHL or Olympic sized roller rink, it's a smaller rink, so they're an effective member of the game who can actually change the course of the game. They can make an effect whether they can skate or not. So the development of these players, whether they're lower end or higher end, is just better on a smaller rink with 3-on-3. And I think that would differentiate our sport enough to where we can finally start marketing it as our own thing, as opposed to ice hockey's feeder system.
Aiden, good stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Good take too. We'll see how that hits the ears. I definitely think that there's room in the sport of roller hockey for growth and a different way to find it. And good luck with you, with everything you got. Good luck to the boys this season. We'll of course have you back on and talk more about it. But keep doing what you're doing and keep growing the game on your own, bud.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Thank you for having me.
All right, we got more Hockey Night Insider when we come back. Don't go anywhere. The guests keep rolling as episode number 2 carries on.
People are always asking, what puck do I use off the ice? It's the Green Biscuit. It slides so well on concrete, good concrete, bad concrete. I mean, it is just so fun to play around with. You can dangle, you can shoot it, you can have fun with it. Now, Green Biscuit has a new children's book, ages 3 to 7. You can get it on Amazon. It comes with a Green Biscuit. I mean, what a holiday gift. Now, I'm definitely going to pick some of these up. And remember to get your Green Biscuits online.
All right, back with you on Hockey Night Insider. Pleasure to have you guys along. And our final guest, last but definitely not least, From Green Brisket, Tom Peterson, buddy. It's great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. It's a pleasure talking to someone like yourself who's been so innovative in the hockey space for so long.
Well, thanks, fellas. Nice to be here.
Let's talk about Green Brisket first. There's a bunch of cool stuff you've got going on. And the conversation we were having in the commercial break before we brought you on was just the ability of what you have at Green Brisket to really be that perfect entrance for folks to get into hockey. Maybe just talk a little bit about that and the ideology behind it.
You know, when I grew up in Minnesota, we didn't have pucks like this. We would take a tennis ball and throw lighter fluid on it and burn the fuzz off of it, or take a tape ball, you know, and this puck really changed the way kids train off the ice. You know, it's just like a puck on the ice. And when you're training specifically for hockey, you want to be as, you know, close to a puck as possible. I mean, if you played a little hockey, you know that when you stick handle a ball, it's actually a little bit different than it is when you stick handle a puck. Your top hand is different, and it's small, but it's there. And, you know, hockey players at the highest levels are always looking for an edge. You'd be, you know, not smart if you didn't do that. So training as close to the real thing is where you want to be. And I think that the Green Brisket is perfectly suited to allow you to do that off the ice. So a saucer pass, one touch pass. And I think the toe drag is one of the most, you know, it's a good skill to have in tight. When you need to get a shot off, you got to pull the puck and get it away quick. It just buys you that little bit of time when you're in traffic to get something off of the net. Might not be the best shot you want, but, you know, it doesn't need to be, you know, that hard. It's got to be in the right spot, and a lot of things got to happen. But, you know, in front of the net, it's mayhem.
Totally. And I've seen your puck all over, you know, social media. If you're involved with hockey, you're seeing the Green Brisket everywhere. And I see that book behind you as well. And, you know, I am a PE teacher. I know we talked about this a little bit, and that, you know, perked my ears up when I heard that you wrote a book about, you know, getting people into hockey and getting people into, you know, using your product. Tell us more about that book. I'd love to hear about that. Maybe we can get a couple copies to send to some of my fourth graders that are working on a tournament soon.
We can for sure do that. You know, I always wanted to write a children's book. I have two daughters that are now in college, but I've always like kicked it around, and I started thinking, I could do a book about the Green Brisket. So I took it, you know, basically with my childhood growing up in Minnesota, and embellished some things, but you know, it's a book about adventure, perseverance, and what's possible if you dream and work hard. You know, I'm not a big guy. I played back when guys were a lot bigger, and everyone said, you're never going to make it. Yeah, you're a good hockey player. You'll have a nice college career, but you're too small to play in the National Hockey League. And I didn't buy into that. I just said, drop the puck. Let's go and find out. But I think it's a book about, you know, inspiring young kids to dream big, but also to understand that it takes a lot of work. Hockey's very labor intensive, but, you know, it's a fun book to read. It's, you know, from probably, you know, age 3 to 7. And then the kids that are starting to be able to read on their own, they could pick it up and read it. You know, I still have books that were my favorite books as a kid growing up. You know, I just remember reading them over and over again. I don't know why I picked them. Mostly probably because of the illustrations. And the guy that did the illustrations on this book really hit it out of the park. He does stuff for Pixar and Disney and Nickelodeon. And he brought the thing to life. So I was real happy with that.
My favorite children's book was Dr. Seuss, Oh, the Places You'll Go. And as an adult, I still find myself every now and then picking it up just for that little nudge, that little hand on the back, you know? Yeah. So I'm hoping kids get to see it. You know, it's on Amazon. You get a free puck when you buy it on Amazon. So I think it's a nice little add-on there. But I really want kids to just have a chance to read it. And, you know, there's a bazillion books out there, but there's not a lot of hockey books. It's just not. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, factual data, historical hockey books. So those are all great. But this is more of an imaginary make-believe, you know, let your imagination run wild and dream about, you know, what's possible. And if you want it all in hockey, you can go for it. Tell me about, we're talking about the puck, obviously, but you teased a little something. You're always, like I said, on the cutting edge and innovating. Is there a potential of a new product floating around out there by you all?
I'm always trying to do something new, and I've tweaked the pucks that I have along the way, just to dress them up and add some value to them. And I've been doing it for like 15 years now. But I do have a puck that the roller hockey world is, I think, gonna like. I mean, I do have a Green Biscuit roller hockey puck that's 2 pieces. It's got the nubs on it, really designed for sport court indoor. And the thing about the roller hockey world is Narch uses a rocket puck, and I think USA Hockey uses the Bauer puck. I do pretty good with the roller hockey puck, so people are using them and liking them. But this puck is going to be different. It's going to be a little heavier, which I think the players like. I think, you guys could tell me, but I think from being a hockey player and playing roller hockey puck, one of the things that kind of tripped me out was how light the puck was. And I understand it's lighter. And the goalies don't want to get hit with a mortar. I get that, but having, as a player, even a roller hockey player, skater out, I would think that you would appreciate a puck that had a little more weight to it. I just think you can do more things with it. It'll stay truer on a shot. That's my opinion. I've shot a lot of roller hockey pucks, and trust me, I like shooting a roller hockey puck because I feel like I'm Brett Hull. That's what I tell people. This is what Brett Hull feels like with the real. This is what Brett Hull feels like with the real puck. I mean, because I can wire that thing. So that Brett Hull was kind of the shooting god when I played. I don't know who it would be now, but I still think Brett Hull. He'd be awesome now. I mean, the guy could just wire it. And Sakic was obviously he could shoot it. What's that?
It's all about that toe drag release these days with, Bedard coming up in the world and introducing that. I had a practice with the OC Blades, and I was just watching some of those kids, and the 16, 17-year-olds were just toe drag and releasing, left and right. So it's funny you mentioned that about go ahead.
No, what I don't understand, and I've talked to guys at the rink, the former NHL guys. I saw Joe Thornton the other night. I saw Todd Marchand. I see all these guys that played, and I'm like, these guys don't take clappers. I don't care who you are. I don't think you're going to score on an NHL goalie with a snapshot from 50 feet. I don't think you're doing it. I just, maybe Brent Burns or some guys, but and these guys have time, and they're not teeing it up. And I played hockey to shoot slap shots. That's one of the reasons I played. And I love shooting one-timers. I love shooting slap shots. And so I would always shoot it as often as I could. You got to hit the net. But you guys have any thoughts on that? Why they don't shoot more slap shots?
Being a goalie, I know obviously I'm more roller hockey based, but you mentioned the pucks as well with, you have the still mat puck that's been really popular too. Yeah. And that has some more, some more weight to it compared to the rocket puck. And I grew up on using the rocket puck. So it was constantly something that was light for me as a goalie, which I enjoyed. But I also feel like with the weight, it kind of slows down that shot a little bit being a goalie. Like you're kind of able to, have that, big, black puck that you're able to watch and kind of bring in. But as far as slap shots, I feel like the game's gotten so much faster, and I feel like the advantage is to the shooter that can get the shot off much quicker. Obviously, the one-timer is always going to be deadly, but yeah.
Take time and space away from the goalie. That's just as important as how hard you shoot. But yeah, I mean, I guess I just like watching a guy blow the puck past a goalie. I don't know.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
It makes me smile.
So are you telling you a fan of slap shots into the empty net then? Because that didn't end up the Toronto game.
That was it. That was interesting. That's going to cost him $200K. That'll hit him right in the kitchen.
Wow.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that. Yeah, I don't know. I wish the guys would just drop their gloves and actually fight then, instead of having a scrum and yell at each other and then everyone gets in there and nobody actually. They didn't actually fight, did they?
No. Yeah,
they were scrumming a little bit,
and then it was a scrum.
Yeah, right. I mean, right.
Yeah,
so,
I think that would have been better poised to be a fight. Yeah,
I did see that. That probably caused a ruckus when I played too. You know,
100%.
it's any.
I'm always of the perspective. I'm always of the perspective that anything that gets ice hockey on Twitter and like blowing up and people are, sharing those videos. I always think I'm a fan of that. I like seeing, people getting excited about that kind of stuff. So I know it's a little, against the grain having that opinion. And I could see how people aren't a fan of, the slap shot into the net. But I love it. I think it hypes me up a little bit. So.
Well, and to your point, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was just going to say, how long have you been watching hockey for, Gizmo? What year did you really start watching it?
Oh boy, let's see. I was born in '81. I was probably watching hockey by the time I was 5-6 years old. There's pictures of me sitting in front of the TV watching the Red Wings.
Right. I mean, you watched Domi, Kosher, Grimson, Probert. You watch these guys. Chris Simon. All these guys that played. These guys don't exist now. They're not.
I get to work with Stu Grimson at the NHL Network every couple weeks. So
awesome.
we were laughing about it. I mean, I was sitting there and we were sitting doing NHL Tonight. A few.
Oh my God, he would put the fear of God in people if they put him on the ice now.
Still is, and by the way, he has not lost a single step. He's still jacked, and he's the sweetest guy on the planet. He is honestly the sweetest guy on the planet. And you know what? Something a fun fact about Stu Grimson: he's a lawyer. He's got his law degree and is practicing law right now, in addition to being on TV.
That's awesome.
So Stu's a man of many hats and talents.
I played against him, and I'd play hard on him. I'd hit him when I could, but he, I was always clean. I wasn't chippy. He never had a problem with playing clean. It's just when, people wanted to act like, a little toddler out there, he'd tap you on the shoulder and say, you can't do that, but the thing is the game has gotten so much faster, and I think we've seen the evolution of the speed. It's just, you can't, I'm not saying, Stu could move okay. But some of the real tough guys weren't that smooth on their skates and had a harder time getting around. I think that's part of the reason they've gone the way of the dinosaur, so to speak.
And that's part of the evolution of the game. It has gotten more finesse and it has gotten more click driven. The Zegras of the worlds, the Troy Terrys, the Connor Bedards, they like the flashy goals. That's why you see so many Michigans nowadays. And the game has changed. And as a result of it, that's why the slap shot is devolving. That's why the fighting is somewhat disappearing. It's just a different game. And it's funny, John Tortorella was talking about that a little bit today in the state of the game of hockey. And he's obviously a very old school guy, but it's different from when you played. It's different even from when I played. But you had a great hockey career, Tom. As we come to the end of this, what's the thing? And I think I know what you're going to say before I ask you, but what has been the thing that made you fall in love with hockey and stay in love with it so much over the years to want to still be involved in it the way you are?
I don't know. It's just always driven me, even when I was little. And, when I ended my career, I was like a lot of hockey players where I just spun my wheels and didn't know what I was going to do next. And I met a guy at the rink in San Jose that had this little green puck. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I started playing around with it. And a couple of years went by, and I started thinking, this thing's pretty cool. I'm going to check in with this guy again and see if I can do anything with him. So I ended up buying the patent from him and paying him royalties for it, and created Green Biscuit because I've obviously loved hockey my whole life. I didn't really want to be a coach, and I thought this is a way I can stay in the game I love. And so I'm super fortunate. I'm very fortunate that I, obviously played hockey at the top level, had a lot of great coaches along the way. I mean, I would not be here for great coaches and great teammates. And then I guess had the, luck or the foresight to say, hey, this puck is pretty cool. I think this is something that other people would enjoy using and see a benefit in it, because there was nothing like it before I brought it out. And so, yeah.
That's incredible, Tom. You're a rock star. Obviously, it's awesome to get a chance to talk to you finally. But it's that old adage: long-time fan, first-time conversation. So we cannot thank you enough for coming on.
Well, maybe when I launch the new puck, you guys can have me back on to unveil it. How about that?
Hey, that's a deal.
Sounds great.
You're on. You're on. We will 100% have it. And if you want to launch it on this platform, I would absolutely love that. We got to run, but before we let you go, what's the rough date do you think or when are you thinking the new puck will be sort of released?
Oh, I think fall would be a safe bet, but it could be sooner. I just, production and then transit times and all that comes into play. But hopefully before fall, but I think fall would be a safe time.
All right. Well, we can't wait to have you back on then. Tom, thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us. And thank you so much for all that you do for the game of hockey.
All right. Thanks, guys. Nice meeting y'all.
Nice meeting you, Tom. Take care.
All right. You too. Bye.
Well, believe it or not, that brings episode 2 to a conclusion. Parks, good stuff. I love the diversity of the guests, but I also love that the theme of this continues to be just people that love the game of hockey and in their own way find ways to contribute and give back to it, from the programs that Peter Dale is creating to what has happened with Aiden and how well he's done and how much he loves that program. And I mean, the number of times he said that he was going to, run the Lobes until he dies, and then obviously everything that Tom is doing for Green Biscuit. It's really kind of encouraging, and it fortifies why I love this game so darn much.
Absolutely. You just love to see the continued growth of hockey, with that book coming out. I'm also glad that we touched on that slap shot going in the empty net. I think that was a big thing that happened in the NHL. But I want to hear what's your take on the gritty? The gritty.
I'm not. You know what? Gritty related.
You're an old school guy.
Fan of. I gotta be honest with you, but I mean, the slap shot into the empty net is, for me, it's taking it too far. I'm okay with the celebrations, and I'm okay with guys being creative and having fun, and I love the Michigan moves. But you can't be pulling a slapper from the top of the crease into the empty net and not expect to pay a price for it.
Oh, absolutely. I think he knew he was going to pay the price. So it was worth it in his eyes. So
you heard the pitter patter of the footsteps behind him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, that is going to wrap up episode 2. Parks, great job as always, my man.
Fantastic. Enjoying every minute of it.
All right. Well, listen, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you get the word out and keep checking all the social medias for Hockey Night Insider, as we'll keep you posted when the next episode is dropping and who our guests are. Thank you so much for supporting us and supporting the game of hockey. We can't wait to see you. And we will see you next time. That's it. And so long from Hockey Night Insider, presented by The Answer is Yes.
It's over! Good afternoon and good night! The King is dead!